You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion. Delivered by conflicting media reports, we connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money. I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Real-time real estate brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com, 2025 housing market forecasts, what to expect. Looking ahead to 2025, it's important to know what experts are projecting for the housing market and whether you're thinking of buying or selling a home next year. Having a clear picture of what they're calling for can help you make the best possible decision for your home ownership plans. Here's an early look at the most recent projections on mortgage rates, home sales, and prices for 2025. Mortgage rates are projected to come down slightly. Mortgage rates play a significant role in the housing market. The forecast for 2025 from Fannie Mae, the Mortgage Bankers Association, MBA, the NAR, National Association of Realtors, Wells Fargo, show an expected gradual decline in mortgage rates over the course of the next year. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, ABC, News and Talk, AM 1490, FM 98.1 video feed, you're seeing a chart of mortgage rates and what Fannie Mae, Mortgage Bankers Association, NAR, Wells Fargo all have to say about where the rates are going. They're all showing that we're going to see rates by the end of 2025 in the fives. All of them. Well, NAR says 6.3. Mortgage rates are projected to come down because continued easing of inflation and a slight rise in unemployment rates are key signs of a strong but slowing economy. And many experts believe these signs will encourage the Federal Reserve to lower the Fed funds rate, which tends to lead to lower mortgage rates. As Morgan Stanley says, quote, with the U.S. Federal Reserve widely expected to begin cutting its benchmark interest rate in 2024, mortgage rates could drop as well, at least slightly, unquote. Expect more homes to sell. The market will see an increase in both the supply of available homes on the market as well as a rise in demand as more buyers and sellers who have been sitting on the sidelines because of higher rates choose to make a move. That's one big reason why experts are projecting an increase in home sales next year. According to Fannie Mae, MBA, and NAR, total home sales are forecasted to climb slightly, with an average of about 5.4 million homes expected to sell in 2025. That would represent a modest uptick from the lower sales numbers in 23 and 24. For reference, about 4.8 million total homes were sold in 2023, and expectations are for around 4.5 million homes to sell this year. While slightly lower mortgage rates are not expected to bring a flood of buyers back to the market, they certainly will get more people moving. That means more homes available for sale and competition among buyers who want to purchase them. Home prices will go up moderately. More buyers ready to jump into the market will put continued upward pressure on prices. Take a look at the latest price forecasts from 10 of the most trusted sources in real estate. Wow, we got the gang right there, don't we? So we've got Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, home price expectation survey of 100, over 100 of the gurus, Fannie Mae, Morgan Stanley, MBA, Zelman and Associates, the National Association of Realtors, Freddie Mac, and Moody's Analytics. All of them coming up with their own numbers, and let's see what they all have to say. On average, experts forecast home prices will rise nationally by about 2.6% next year. But as you can see, there's a range of opinions on how much prices will climb. Experts agree, however, that home prices will continue to increase moderately next year at a slower, more normal rate. But keep in mind, prices will always vary by local market. If you want to know what's going on in your market, we give it to you for free. rsrsaleslink.com/market report. rsrsaleslink.com/market report. You can go in there, put your zip code in there, and they'll get you a report just for your zip code or your county. It's all there. Understanding 2025 housing market forecasts can help you plan your next move. Whether you're buying or selling, staying informed about these trends will ensure you make the best decision possible. Give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. We'll see what we can do to help you get your goals accomplished in real estate. And yes, as I mentioned earlier, I know people in almost anywhere in the country, maybe not everywhere, but almost everywhere in the country. We know people that we can put you in touch with. All you've got to do is make the call. Also, that's the real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Let's see what else is going on in the world. We're going to talk about what's going on in the mortgage market. We're going to talk about what's going on in interest rates. You know, I had a conversation with a whole group of loan officers last Monday, and I was sharing with them that we can show you how to get your current mortgage. So you have a current mortgage at 4%. You wanted it at 2%? You got a current mortgage at 6%. Wanted it at 4%? Got a current mortgage at 8%. Wanted it at 6%? We can take 2 points to show you how to get 2 points off that effective rate. And oh yeah, we'll cut down the term for you as well. You can reach me anytime off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is, you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990, or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by rsrdebtfree.com, rsrdebtfree.com. Who can check your credit after you add a freeze, lock, or fraud alert? One way criminals steal money is by opening new credit accounts in someone else's name. If you think someone has your personal information, you can use credit freezes, credit locks, or fraud alerts to help protect you from fraud. However, credit freezes and credit locks don't completely block access to your credit reports or FICO scores. Credit freezes versus credit locks versus fraud alert. Credit freezes, locks, and alerts, all protective measures, but each option works differently. Credit freezes, also called security freezes, limit access to your credit reports. You can add or remove freezes for free anytime, but you need to manage your credit freezes at each of the bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion separately. Credit locks limit access to your credit reports, similar to credit freezes, but credit locks generally a feature that comes with a free or paid account at one of the credit bureaus. Fraud alerts. A fraud alert doesn't limit access to your credit report. Instead, it tells creditors that you may be a victim of identity theft and that they should take extra steps to verify your identity before opening a new account. You can add a fraud alert to one of your credit reports, and the bureau will forward your request to the other two. Credit freezes and locks are two options that limit who can access your credit report. When your credit report is frozen or locked, the bureaus won't release it to creditors that are making lending decisions. The creditor might automatically deny the application if you can't see your credit history or get a FICO score based on the report, even if you're the one applying. As a result, credit freezes and locks can protect you from fraudulent applications, but you also want to unfreeze or unlock your reports before submitting a legitimate application. It's often a quick and easy process, and you can unfreeze report temporarily and then automatically refreeze the report to keep yourself protected. Who can access your frozen or locked credit reports? Although credit freezes and locks limited access to your credit reports, the credit bureaus can still send your report and FICO score to certain individuals and organizations. These include you. You can always check your own credits, reports, and FICO scores. Your current creditors, your lenders and card issuers can also continue to check your credit, which they might do to help manage your account. For example, your card issuer might increase your credit card's credit limit if it notices your FICO score improved. Certain government officials, government agencies, and employees might still be able to see your credit report if specific situations such as when there's a court order, warrant, or subpoena. Landlords, a landlord or property management company might want to check your credit and FICO scores before offering you a rental home or setting your security deposit amount. Insurance companies in some states. Insurance companies can review your credit reports and credit-based insurance scores to help determine who to offer policies to and the premiums to charge. Telecom and utility providers. Your credit history and FICO score may also affect your options when you want to get a new phone or utility account. Employers can sometimes check someone's credit report before offering them a job or promotion. However, employment and background screening reports don't come with FICO scores. Other companies that aren't making lending decisions, companies may also access frozen credit reports for identity verification, debt collection, and marketing purposes. However, you can opt out of getting pre-approved credit offers from companies at optoutprescreen.com. Optoutprescreen.com. Everybody should be registered with optoutprescreen.com. Regardless of whether your credit report is frozen, only people and organizations who have a legally defined permissible purpose can get copies of your credit report. Is freezing your credit worth it? Freezing your credit won't completely block access to your credit report or FICO score, and you'll need to remember to unfreeze your reports before applying for a new credit card or loan, but it's still a free and easy way to help protect yourself from credit fraud. Additionally, you can freeze your reports at other consumer reporting agencies to help you protect yourself from other types of fraud. That is the Your Credit Matters segment, brought to you by rsrdebtfree.com, rsrdebtfree.com. Borrow Smart segment brought to you by rsrhomeselect.com, rsrhomeselect.com. One of my favorite loans on the market, as you know, the Home Select program, because it saves you so much money and interest. But there are those people that just don't qualify for the Home Select product. So how do we save you money? Because you know strategy beats rate always. So let's just go and take a look at that $750,000 loan that you have at its current interest rate of what you paid. Probably, if you bought it in the last 2 years, probably 7.5%. Now, let's see what it takes for us to get. I mentioned to you about shaving 2% off of that, right? Want to shave 2% off of that interest rate and see what that does for you? Let's take a look and see what if I can come up with the number for it. We're gonna take. So here's what we do: is we look at the numbers and figure out, okay, where are we going to do? What do we need to do? Now, you can always buy down interest rates. You know that. We've talked about that on Ron Siegel Radio in the past. If you're a regular listener, you know that you can just buy down interest rates when you take out the loan. Now, you can't buy down interest rates after you've had the loan, but you're still in control. You control all of it. How? That's the question mark. So what I'm looking at here is, I'm just going to go with 460. So let's just take a look and see if I can figure this out. That'll work. So you've got a current loan and you're making a current payment. Let's just hypothetically, no APRs. We're just educating you here. Let's say last month or 2 months ago, you took out a loan at 7.5%, $750,000 loan, 7.5%. You probably got it less than that, but just for educational purposes, we're going to do this number at 7.5%. Well, you say, Ron, I want to shave 2%. Now that 7.5%, you were paying $52.44 principal and interest. Again, no APR. I'm educating you here. The expenses are going to be the same on either way if they're done right. Now, what if you just say, Ron, I want to have a 5.5% interest rate, right? I can get you 5.46. Whoa. Pay an extra $460 a month towards your loan each and every month. So now your payment goes from $52.44 to $57.04. Now, here's the beauty of this. We're going to cut almost 7 years off of your repayment, which gets you that effective interest rate of 5.46. And oh, by the way, it's going to save you $308,889 in interest. $308,889 in interest. You can do that anytime you want to do that. There are no payment police that say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, you can't make an extra payment. If you want to know your numbers, I'm more than happy to put them into our handy dandy calculator and show you. Now, what do you do with that extra money every month for those 7 years? Well, as part of our dashboard that we put together for you and our household board of directors, you take that money, 5704, and you start giving it to one of the financial advisors. Now, when we put together the advisory team, what we're going to look at for you is we're going to say, do you have a financial advisor? Let's rate them 1 to 10. I don't allow 7s because that's a cop-out. That's just like, it's like getting a C in school, right? You're not good. You're not bad. You got it done. Well, that's not good enough. That's your money. I want everybody to have 9s and 10s. So if you have an 8, 9, or 10, we're going to nothing to do, nothing to see here. If you tell me 6 or below, or you don't have somebody, I'm going to say, okay, we're going to, once we have our consultation and know what makes sense for you, I want to introduce you to one of the members of the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. And we'll end up putting that person's name and contact information right on your dashboard. Do you have your estate, your trust in place? If you own real estate, especially in California, you need a trust. Who's your trust attorney? We're going to put them. Household board of directors. You don't have a 9 or 10? Want one? We'll introduce you. Insurance people, accounting people. We got them all. And we're putting together a database of those 9s and 10s. And we're going to interview some of those folks, and we'll see once we interview them, then we can say, okay, whenever we get somebody that fits the criteria that we identified in that interview, we just play matchmaker. No, you don't have to swipe right or swipe left. Don't worry about that stuff because I don't understand that part. You know, that's a millennial thing. Gen Z. I actually talked to somebody during the week, and he told me, sorry, Ron, I'm not a millennial. I'm a Gen Z. And they still know more than I know about some of this computer stuff. Thankfully, Josh is there taking care of it for us in the background. Good stuff, though. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we've got a great lineup here for you still. What's the impact of presidential elections on the housing market? Housing mortgage forecast, what do we expect? Who could check your credit after you add freeze, lock, or a fraud alert? All that and more. Reach me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 01869452.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is, you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. What's the impact of presidential elections on the housing market? No surprise that the upcoming presidential election might have you speculating about what's ahead. And those unanswered thoughts can quickly spiral, causing fear and uncertainty to swirl through your mind. So if you've been considering buying or selling a home this year, you're probably curious about what the election might mean for the housing market and if it's still a good time to make your move. Here's the good news that may surprise you. Typically, presidential elections have only had a small temporary impact on the housing market. But your questions are definitely worth answering, so you don't have to pause your plans in the meantime. Here's a look at decades of data that show exactly what happens to home sales prices, mortgage rates in previous presidential election cycles. So you can move forward with facts as you weigh the pros and cons of your home ownership decision. And again, if you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of the socials, or the ABC News and Talk, AM 1490, FM 98.1 video feeds, you are going to see a bunch of charts. In the month leading up to presidential election, from October to November, there's typically a slight slowdown in home sales. Okay, so we're looking at that chart right there about the slowdown. Let me see if I can make this a little larger on my screen so old eyes can see it. Let's see, slight, what's that say? Darn, I can't see it anyway. Some consumers will simply wait it out before they make their purchase decision. However, it's important to know this slowdown is small and temporary. Historically, home sales bounce right back and continue to rise the following year. In fact, data from the Department of Housing and Urban Development and the National Association of Realtors shows after nine of the last 11 presidential elections, home sales went up the year after the election, and it's been happening consistently since the early 1990s. So it looks to me, if I'm able to see this chart here, that there are only 2 times going back in time after 1981 and after 1989, we saw home sales went down. Other than that, existing home sales are up. 1984, 1992, 1996, 2000, 2004, 8, 12, 16, and 20. Home sales up every one of those years. Home prices. You may also be wondering about home prices. Do prices come down during election years? Not typically. As residential appraiser and housing analyst Ryan Lindquist notes, quote, an election year doesn't alter the price trend that is already happening in the market, unquote. Home prices generally rise over time regardless of an election cycle. So based on what history shows, you can expect the current price trend in your market to likely continue, barring any unusual market or economic circumstances. The latest data from the National Association of Realtors reveals that after 7 of the past 8 presidential elections, home prices increased the following year. Can we guess which year they didn't? Most of us remember 2008, and it was not a fond memory. Existing home prices went up after 7 of the past 8 presidential elections. Only 2008 or 2009 was it that it didn't. The only outlier, 2008, 2009, which is during the height of the housing market crash. That was certainly not a typical year. Today's market, however, is much more resilient. And while prices are moderating nationally, they aren't on an overall decline. Mortgage rates. The third thing that's likely on your mind is mortgage rates, since they impact your monthly payment if you're financing a home. Looking at the last 11 presidential election years, data from Freddie Mac shows mortgage rates decreased from July to November in 8 of them. Again, a chart is on the screen. 8 of 11, 1980, 1992, and 2016, mortgage rates decreased leading up to the presidential elections. And this year, we've already started to see that happen. Most experts also forecast mortgage rates will ease slightly throughout the rest of 2024. If that happens, all signs right now indicate it should. This year will continue to follow the trend of declining rates. So if you're looking to buy a home in the coming months, this could be great news for your purchasing power. What this means for you. The big takeaway, while presidential elections do have some impact on the housing market, the effects are usually minimal. As Lisa Sturdivant, chief economist for Bright MLS, says, quote, historically, the housing market does not tend to look very different in presidential election years compared to other years, unquote. For most buyers and sellers, elections don't have a major impact on their plans. Bottom line, while it's natural to feel a bit uncertain during an election year, history shows the housing market remains strong and resilient, and this means you don't have to pause your plans in the meantime. For help navigating the market during this election cycle, give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. As you know, I lead a lending team, but I also know a lot of great real estate professionals anywhere in the sound of my voice. I guess I shouldn't say that as much because we're getting an audience that's outside the U.S. So I know agents almost everywhere in the United States. We can put you in touch with them anywhere, and we can show you several strategies. I should tell you that's the real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Got a Your Credit Matters segment brought to you by rsrdebtfree.com, rsrdebtfree.com. Can a cosigner take you to court? For potential scenarios and the alternatives. Cosigners can take the primary borrower to court if the primary borrower fails to repay the loan or otherwise fails to fulfill the terms of their agreement. As you learn about getting a cosigner, you'll see that they can help you get a loan you may not otherwise qualify for. Your cosigner effectively promises to repay your loan if you fail to make payments on your own. But can a cosigner take you to court if you fail to make payments on time or in full? They can. And the circumstances that allow them to take the primary borrower to court vary by state and the type of agreement you have. Let's take a look at some common situations that can lead to a court date and what most borrowers can expect during the process. When could a cosigner take you to court? Working with a cosigner can help you qualify for a loan you otherwise couldn't get, but If you don't hold up your end of the deal, the cosigner can take you to court. The exact situation that allow a cosigner to take the primary borrower to court can vary by state and the type of loan they co-signed on, but most states allow cosigners to take primary borrowers to court in the following situations. Cross claims. If you default on or fail to repay the loan, the lender could sue the cosigner for the money owed. The cosigner may then be able to sue you for the money that the lender is trying to recover. Fraud. If you add a cosigner to your loan without their permission, the cosigner can sue you. This is a form of fraud and is punishable by law. Recovery of money they paid. Your cosigner may be able to sue you to recover the money they paid toward your loan after you stop making payments. Any other breach of contract. Many cosigners use contracts that outline the terms they expect the primary borrower to follow. If you violate those terms, the cosigner may be able to sue you. What can the process look like if your cosigner wants to take you to court? They'll typically work with an attorney who will send you a notice of the lawsuit against you. You'll have several ways to respond. You could try to negotiate a repayment agreement with your cosigner and their attorney, or try your luck in court. Get matched with a personal loan. That's right for you today. That's a possibility. The judge will consider your loan situation and your case as they reach a decision. The process can take several months, and the judge's decision will depend on your case and what's common in your state. You could be required to repay your debt as well as any legal costs your cosigner paid while taking you to court. Though every case is unique, you can expect a few things from the small claims process. Here's a quick overview. The cosigner submits their demands and files a lawsuit. You're served papers notifying you of the lawsuit and can respond by contesting the lawsuit or negotiating an alternative repayment method with the cosigner. If alternatives aren't successful, you'll go to court. The process will start with pretrial hearings that review what happened between you and the cosigner. If things aren't resolved during the pretrial phase, you go to trial. The trial allows you and your cosigner to explain your sides of the story. The judge will then make a decision and let you know if you're required to pay them, how you'll have to pay them, and how much you'll owe. What can happen after going to court? If the court determines that you owe your cosigner money, it can collect those funds from you several ways. Two common methods include wage garnishment and bank levies. When the court orders a wage garnishment, the money you earn from your job will go to your cosigner to settle your debt. The amount of money sent will depend on the court's decision. In some cases, your entire paycheck may go to the cosigner until you've paid the debt in full. When the court orders a bank account levy, the money in your bank is frozen, and any funds in the account may be used to repay your debt. Keep in mind that the money you add to your bank account after the levy should be yours and will not typically be used to repay your cosigner. What are the alternatives to going to court? Going to court can be stressful, and you and your cosigner. Luckily, some alternatives could be better fit. Here are a few other ways that you and your cosigner may be able to reach solution. Debt consolidation loans. Have we talked about that before? RSR2step.com. RSR2step.com. Taking out a debt consolidation loan allows you to borrow money to repay what you owe on your original loan. You could use it to settle your debt with your cosigner, but doing so will make you responsible for an entirely new loan. Negotiate partial payments. When you negotiate partial payments with your cosigner, you'll repay what you can afford to repay over time, even if it's only a portion of the original loan's balance. Credit card debt forgiveness. Applying for credit card debt forgiveness lets you free up cash that you were using to pay down a credit card so you can more easily repay your cosigner. Not all credit card issuers will be open to this, and applying for debt forgiveness could hurt your credit score. Debt settlement. This debt settlements let you negotiate a lower payoff amount than what you truly owe. And once you pay that amount in full, your old debt will be considered repaid. Depending on the situation, you may even be able to negotiate a settlement with your cosigner. Give me a call. Our friend Chris Corrales handles this for a lot of listeners of Ron Siegel Radio. These are just a few of the most common alternatives you may want to consider, and an attorney can help you explore other alternatives. We don't want to get into all those. Can a cosigner take you to court? Yeah. What happens if you don't pay the cosigner on the loan? You've found that out. Be careful of the cosigning process. That is Your Credit Matters, brought to you by rsrdebtfree.com, rsrdebtfree.com. And remember, once you've gone onto these situations, if it hurts your scores, your FICO scores, everybody should have looked at already rsrccpayment.com, rsrccpayment.com. It's one of our most talked about segments that we've done on radio. And I share it frequently because I still get calls from people who have not gone and reviewed this. rsrccpayment.com. We go through methodically and show you how to pay your credit card bills the right way for FICO scoring purposes. And yes, if you're the one that says, I pay my bills in full every month, Ron, 95% of you, probably you, are paying them the wrong way for FICO scoring purposes, even if you pay them in full every month and have no interest expense from them. rsrccpayment.com, rsrccpayment.com. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, today's biggest housing myths, we'll talk about that. And I'm sure we got a lot of other things we'll get into. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you missed any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the first Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at RonIsMyLender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. RonIsMyLender.com.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Borrow Smart segment brought to you by rsrhomeselect.com, rsrhomeselect.com. 7 ways to save on credit card interest, with credit card interest rates at record highs. 22.84% is the average right now. You can easily end up spending thousands of dollars on finance charges each year. Here are some strategies to help you save on credit card interest. Number one, pay your full balance during the grace period. Each billing cycle, depending upon your card issuer, you may have a period of about 21 days to pay your full statement balance and avoid interest charges on your purchase. The grace period applies as long as your previous month's balance was paid in full. If any part of your balance was left unpaid, the grace period does not apply. Fortunately, the other tips included here can help you save on credit card interest. If you want to make sure to pay your credit card bill the right way for FICO scoring purposes, rsrccpayment.com, rsrccpayment.com. Number two, pay more than the minimum. The higher your balance, the more interest you'll pay. When you only pay the minimum, most of your payment goes toward interest, with only a small amount reducing your balance. Making larger monthly payments lowers your balance more and reduces the amount of interest calculated on your balance. Number three, transfer your balance to a card with a lower interest rate. You can save on credit card interest by moving high interest rate balances to a credit card with a lower interest rate. Even better if you qualify for a promotional 0% APR offer. Many balance transfer cards offer this promotional rate for 18 to 21 months, which gives you ample time to pay down your balance and avoid interest. Be sure to factor in the balance of transfer fee and any annual fee on the credit card, as these can offset your interest savings if they're especially high. Number four, ask for a lower interest rate. Your credit card issuer may be willing to give you a lower interest rate, especially if your credit has improved since card opening. You may not have luck with lowering your interest rate. However, if you are paying the penalty rate because of previous past due debt payments, you might benefit. Number five, make your payments early in the billing cycle. You can save on credit card interest just by making your payment earlier when your credit card issues the average daily balance method to calculate your interest rate. By paying early, you reduce your average daily balance and the amount of interest that accrues, assuming you don't increase your balance and with additional purchases later in the month. Number six, avoid cash advances. Cash advances have a much higher APR compared to purchases and do not have a grace period for paying your full balance and avoiding interest. So any cash advance you take out starts accruing interest right away. Avoiding cash balances completely allows you to save on credit card interest. Number seven, improve your FICO score. Your credit card interest rate is often based in part on your credit worthiness, which is typically determined by analyzing some information used to calculate your FICO score. By improving your credit, you can qualify for lower credit card rates and a promotional APR offers. Both give you the opportunity to save on credit card interest. Want to increase your credit score? rsrccpayment.com, rsrccpayment.com. If you want to find out what your true FICO scores are, and I get lots of people telling me all the time that they know what their FICO score is, and it's really a credit score. Cleanall3.com, that'll give you your real FICO score. Cleanall3.com, that's going to give you a true FICO score. And I monitor mine. I have a service where I monitor mine and my wife's. I get an update on my phone every time there's some change to my credit report. Doesn't necessarily mean there's a change to the FICO score, but a change to the credit report. So if a balance went up, a balance went down, if there's an inquiry, if there's an account closed, all of those things show up on the report, and I get a notification right to my phone if any of these things happen. And I watch it for both my wife and I because she's out doing things out and about. I'm sitting at my desk a lot of the time, leading a lending team, doing research for a radio show and the like. So cleanall3.com, that is the Borrow Smart segment brought to you by rsrhomeselect.com, rsrhomeselect.com. If you've got enough equity in your property, the whole idea, or the best idea, is to roll up all of your debts into the Home Select product. Why? Because you're going to pay them all off so much quicker, and you're looking at an effective interest rate in most instances. I don't even remember. We just did one yesterday. We did an analysis for a family, and I don't recall the exact numbers. I'll look it up while I'm talking. But, the effective interest rate, they had, I think, a 2.99 was their interest rate. And when we ran the simulator, we don't always know what the simulator is going to say. In fact, we never know what the simulation is going to be. It's just that we look at the simulation and we go in there and we put the number, here it is. You feed the data and you get a return on what the data is. So this one here, not ultra wealthy individuals, but their interest went from a 2.99 is their 30-year fixed rate loan interest. And their effective APR with the Home Select, effective APR. Now remember, the effective APR, we're looking at how long is it going to take to do this. It's got to have number 7 in our list of items that we always want you to understand is discipline. But their effective interest rate on this particular program, 1.062. 1.062 effective interest rate. Yes, it's a 30-year loan. It is adjustable, so it's going down because of interest rates going down. But you tell me, 1.062. And I think we looked in there that the difference in the payoff was going to go from 26 years to, I think it was 4 years and change, something along those lines. I'm not finding it real quick here, but paid off 4.3 years, 25.8 years to 4.3 years. Now you tell me, which way would you rather be, paying your mortgage for 25.8 or going with something that's a little bit out of the box? The banks don't like us to tell you about this, but you're looking at this one as 4.3 years. So make sure you're taking a look at that program. I think we have time for another Borrow Smart segment. Josh might shoot me. It's not a long one. So we've got Borrow Smart brought to you by rsrhomeselect.com. rsrhomeselect.com. Is buying a house with a sibling a good idea? 5 steps for success. Coming up with the money you need to buy a house can seem out of reach for many people to do alone. According to a recent survey, about half of Americans are willing to split the cost of buying a home with someone else. Buying a home with your sibling may help you pool your resources and get into a nicer home that you can afford alone. But there are a few steps you'll want to take to make sure the experience is a positive one. We'll explore these as well as the pros and cons of co-owning a home with your sibling. Key takeaways. Buying a home with your sibling may help you qualify for a more expensive or nicer home than you could on your own. Each sibling should be open about their financial situation, including their credit score, debt-to-income ratio, and other similar factors. Disagreements in how you maintain or manage the home could potentially cause strain in your relationship. Working with a real estate agent who is familiar with helping siblings and co-borrowers buy homes together could simplify the process. Number 1, consider financial options. Take a hard look at your financial situation as a whole. Each of you brings a certain set of circumstances to the table. Your combined and individual finances can make a difference in the type of home you can afford and the types of loans you may qualify for. There are the factors you'll want to consider before you start your search. Your credit scores, your down payment savings, your debt-to-income ratio, your employment history, types of homes you're interested in. Be honest with each other as you have this conversation. This way, you'll know exactly where each of you stands. Number 2, choose the best ownership agreement. Get legal advice. If you don't have a good lawyer, give me a call, 800-306-1990. We'll put you in touch with somebody. Whether you're buying a house with a family member or not, you'll want to establish a clear ownership agreement. This outlines what happens to the property if one of you passes away. There are 2 main ownership options to consider: joint tenancy and tenancy in common. Again, I am not a lawyer. I do not give legal advice. You'll want to make sure that you deal with that. Step 3, consult with a real estate attorney. They can help you protect your interests by making sure ownership agreements and any questions of inheritance are established legally and in a way that works both your needs. Step 4, create an ownership contract. To protect both of your interests, you and your sibling want to create a clear ownership contract. At a minimum, you wanted to touch on the following: the ownership agreement, your exit strategy if either of you decides to sell in the future, who is responsible for which payments and in what amounts or percentages, who can inherit the property, how you'll handle life changes, like moving to a new state, getting married, having kids. All of these are the considerations that you need to make when you're dealing with this. Just a lot of if you do this stuff up front, it helps. Step 5, find the perfect home. Before you start touring properties, take some time to discuss what you both want the property to have and what you both need in a home. This will depend on your situation. Take your time and come up with a list of wants and needs that you both agree on. Using that list, you can start looking at properties that meet your needs. Consider working with an experienced agent. Once again, I tell you, give me a call, 800-306-1990. I know experienced agents anywhere within the sound of my voice. And as always, I ask, I'm sorry, that's the Borrow Smart segment brought to you by rsrhomeselect.com, rsrhomeselect.com. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean, who are engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
I'd like to call him something. I think I'll